All right. I'm losing my voice, but this is Christophe Clugston with Ken O'Neill. And we got some information for everybody. It's kind of incredibly cool because it's what a lot of people in the JKD community world sphere, they all feared. And what did they fear? Well, they feared the thing that Bruce was talking about the most, and that was to be true to yourself, evolve, and see what works in the street, empirical evidence. And what does that mean? Well, that means, Ken, we're about to officially announce something, aren't we? What is it that we're ready to officially announce?
Well, I guess one way to remember it is like you just put up not long ago. Be a big event, the November 123 event, which is the Lost Boys of JKD, three of whom some of you guys never even knew he existed for so long. And so not only will we prove that we exist and we've been around all along, some of us in basements and whatnot, but we've been around and we'll be together for the first time in the same place for the first time since the 80s, and actually teaching and doing so sequentially based on our seniority, so to speak, going back with the combat JKD. So doesn't mean anything other than that, all right? I'm not trying to say this guy's better than this guy. Everybody's different, man, and that's what we want to show. You know, JKD is supposed to bring the best in you, right? And it's supposed to be
that's what's cool. That's what's cool about it. So I'm going to reiterate those dates so people. So November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2019, Friday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I believe it is, and same on Sunday. You can come to just Friday night if you only want to, and that's $20 if you pay now. And that information, I will have a link to the website for that. It's non-refundable because we have logistics. And if you want to come on just Saturday or Sunday, that's $179 for one day before August 19th. Then the price goes up. And if you want the whole, it's 14 hours in total. If you want to do 14 hours in total, it's $300. Three instructors, three different types of perspective on combat JKD, because we really need to say these are the lost boys of combat JKD. What happened to combat JKD? It was lost because we went underground. We evolved. Ken and I evolved and did other things. Stan retired for a while. So this is really, we're reuniting, and we're going to also have guest VIP people show up during that entire weekend. And we're not going to say anything more about that right now, just that they're going to be guest VIPs. And this is going to draw people from all over. Ken has his own group of guys. Stan has his own group of guys. I have my own group of guys. And that's going to be unique because they're going to be the first time that those groups ever met each other. And also, we're hoping that the JKD community at large is going to want to come, because a lot of them denied that we existed. They said it was a myth. And then some people said, oh, yeah, they did, but they're gone. They disappeared. We didn't disappear. We did other things. And it's time for us to come back together, to reunite. And it's going to be in St. Louis. We were all trained in St. Louis or East St. Louis. East St. Louis, of course, is a much worse area. And but we trained there so that we are going to bring it back to where it started, where we trained from and where we started. You're going to hear stories throughout the weekend, things that Dan and Asanto said about our branch and how special our branch is, and then war stories from each person and some humorous things that have happened over the years. But so, Ken, you want to explain give them a little hint how we're going to structure our training for the weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, this would be pretty cool. What Christophe's referring to on the Friday is, we know there's some guys that have been away from this for so long. We were just had a conversation before we went on air here. There are guys that were training partners of ours going way back, and I'm giggling thinking about it because we just had such good camaraderie and so much fun. And you know, a lot of these guys have gone on and had raised families and, you know, done all this, and a lot of them don't train anymore. So for guys like that, and for other guys that follow us who are just interested in this, like they would be Vietnam War history, you know, but they don't like to participate, that Friday night is a great thing to be able to come to and meet us and hear the stories. And for some of the older guys that don't want to train necessarily, they can still come and reunite, you know, have a little reunion, and we all can get to talk and hang out and stuff. And then I suspect some of these guys, though, will go, you know what the heck, I can still do this. I'm going to go ahead and sign up for the whole thing. We'll have stretchers available for those guys, you know, who haven't trained in 30 years. I'm joking, because I already know some guys that I think are going to show up who haven't done anything in forever, and we can call them names and stuff. But anyway, so that's what that's about. So then the format, this will be interesting. The way the format will work is our senior brother, of the three of us, you know, that have been teaching all these years under the Go Get 'em boys from Mike Sandlin and Carl. The first was Stan Brooks. Stan Brooks preceded me by a couple of years. And then I came along and I got the okay to start teaching 70. I started in 73. I think by 75, they told me to go ahead and start. So, and then Christophe came, what year exactly was it? Was it 80?
85. I started in 85. 85, I could teach. I was okay to teach at the end of 86, but I didn't teach then. I was busy professionally fighting and learning other things. But yeah, I got the official okay in the end of 86 to start teaching.
Yeah, so the whole thing is we're going to go in that order. Stan came first, so he'll teach the first block on Saturday. I'm next. I'll do the next block. Christophe will come and do the third block, and we'll repeat that on Sunday as well. So that means you'll get 4 hours training in each of our perspectives and our expression of JKD over the weekend. You know?
Well, actually, let's clarify that. It's going to be Stan teaches for an hour, Ken teaches for an hour, I teach for an hour, and then Stan comes back and teaches for another hour, and then Ken, and then myself again, because we're going to evolve off of each other. It's not a static thing. It's going to be just like JKD is supposed to be. It's going to be a growing, organic, to use that word, ever evolving thing the entire weekend. The entire weekend will be a growth. You'll see tangents from where we started on Saturday morning, and it's just gonna go where it goes with the group of guys that we got, and it's gonna depend on everybody's personalities, their level of skill, and what they want to do. We have things we're going to cover, but how we exactly do it and where they end up, there's not going to be anything like this ever, because we all trained in similar ways. We share a core thing, and that's what we've talked about in some of our talks. It's our overarching mindset, paradigm, construct, or vibe even. And that's, as you've heard, like Ken talked about, solving problems. We've learned situationally. We'll put people in that. Ken's going to do that, and we're going to do things that feed off of each other. It's just going to grow from one guy to the next guy, and then back to Stan. He does it, and it's just going to be exponential growth. So I look forward to it, because to me, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very, very exciting, and this is going to be a one-time thing because of the people that we're hopefully getting in for the VIPs, and you don't want to miss that, because if you care about actual street fighting ability, saving yourself from extreme violence, which is what I deal with all the time, you're going to get this, because this isn't about sort of a curated sort of historical look, you know. I mean, I got to say that, but back to you, Ken. I mean, add to that. Go ahead and add to what I said.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you made that even more clear. Yeah. So, but I was just getting at the idea that each one of us will be teaching a couple of hours each day. But Christophe was more specific on how we're going to actually layer that. So that's good, because that makes it more interesting, because what'll happen is we'll go in there with our plans, and then, you know, JKD's about adapting, right? Like the old Marine Recon thing, adapt and overcome, because that's going to happen, because there'll be synergy, you know. As one guy's doing one thing, the other guy's going to go, oh, that makes me think I need to go here, and it'll just flow. and there'll be things that we didn't even plan that'll come out of this and happen, which keeps it very dynamic and alive, which becomes a mini expression of what this whole art really means. You know, the whole methodology of how to adapt and evolve and change in the moment. I've always liked, there's a Chinese phrase called wu wei, you know, which is spontaneous action. And I use that in my philosophical explanation of, it's an old Taoist phrase, when I talk to my guys about trying to explain what the JKD methodology is and what conceptually what it means, you know, is extreme adaptability. So it'll be fun because we'll be adapting on the spot to each other, picking up off of each other, sticking to our plans somewhat. And then like Christophe said, then there'll be input from you guys that are doing it. You know, things will come up. A guy will ask a question and say, yeah, but what about this? And then poof, that's going to launch, that'll launch another whole shift in the way things go. So it'll be dynamic and flowing, and it'll be a lot of fun. Now, there's another thing that we haven't even talked about so much about the three of us, because this has evolved more due to a little YouTube talk that I did with the guys that are on 4th of July that are hosting this, which is Three Rivers Aikido in St. Louis, Missouri. It's in a really cool area that's historical. In St. Louis, it's on the hill, which refers to the Italian Hill. It's a large Italian settlement, really close, really easy to get to from the airport and from a couple of different major highways. There'll be some info coming up for you guys about a hotel that I have some connections to work on getting you guys a good rate. It'll be within a couple of miles of the location, so that'll make things easy. You know, if guys carpool or guys that fly in, they can do Uber or whatever. It'll be really close. You could even walk if you wanted to. So all that. But what I wanted to say about the guys that are hosting us, it's an Aikido dojo, and it's huge. I mean, it's the training mat is 30 by 80 feet, and they already know they can get up to 100 people on this mat training. I did a workshop there in January, and I think I had, I don't know, like 30 or so. And my God, we didn't even take up a fraction of the size of that place. It's just huge. So, and they're very open-minded, and the more advanced belts in this school have cross-trained with me somewhat over the years. So they're pretty open-minded, you know, and it's great because some of those guys they're brown and black belt level guys, you know, will join us. And they have a network of guys too. So, well, we'll get input and feedback from guys that do things even more, tend to be a little more dramatically different from what any of the three of us do. Yet, as I mentioned, some of them cross-train with us already. So it just adds another vibe to the mix. You know, it'll be interesting who all comes out of the woodwork to show up for this thing. So it'll be fun. It'll be a blast.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's say. We'll have the exact addresses on the website. It's on Marconi.
It's 2320 Marconi Avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah, Avenue. It's St. Louis, Missouri. It's 63110 is the zip. Three Rivers Aikido is the venue.
Oh, okay. So we're going to definitely be at that location. We're going to be at that location. We'll be working on hotels and stuff because we're starting this far enough in advance because we have major logistics involved in this, and that's something that we got to talk about too, because of the fact that people have asked us this for years. You know, would you, before I even hook back up with Ken and Stan, is there ever going to be something with you and Ken and Stan or the other guys at Combat JKD? And I said, well, you know, I hope so. But you got to show it now, because now it's time for you guys to come through with your support, because we can't do this without your support. And that's why don't wait. Like we said, we've got these spaces that are available, but don't wait and think that you're gonna be able to get it late. And prices are going up, and there's no joking here. This isn't some sort of advertising hoopla. It's just a fact of logistics. Just like if you're gonna have a band that goes on tour, advance tickets go on sale, and you got to get them then. And that's what I'm telling you. Get them now, because the prices go up. And as you know, for bands, they scalp. But in our case, we're just they're going to go up and up, or you're just going to miss the opportunity. You do not want to miss this opportunity, because guys have asked us about this for years. So we're doing it. We've come through. we've done our end of the bargain. Now it's your guys' time to step up and show that you really want to learn this, and don't say next time. There's not going to be a next time. You're going to do this now, or you're not going to do it. And I got to talk to you like an adult. You can't sit on the fence on this, and because we're going through a lot. Like, for example, I'm coming 12 time zones, over 12,000 miles. This is 2 continents put together. The logistics work to put 3 guys in the same place at the same time. It's not easy. And that means you guys got to show your support here because you wanted it. We're doing it. And anyway, what I want to say here, we're going to keep this short, is that we're going to come back with more information as we get closer to those dates. Once again, there will be a link below the YouTube video in the comments that you can click that and take it to the website that tells you a little bit more about each of us, and then you can secure your spot. But it's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of November, 2019. Mark it on your calendar. Mark it on your calendar. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday night again, 7:30 to 9:30. You can just do that, or you can just come one day on Saturday or Sunday. But we recommend, and we're going to give preference to those people who want to do the entire 14 hours. Nobody's training 14 hours anymore. Nobody. You can't find. You'll look at BJJ classes or Boss Rutan doing kickboxing 2-hour clinics or workshops. 4 hours maximum. This is 14 hours, and you will be able to do things. I guarantee it. Especially in my segment, you're gonna be protecting yourself. Believe me. So anyway, Ken and I will be back very soon. We don't want to make this long because we want to make this our official announcement. We will be the Lost Boys of Combat JKD will be back, and they will all 3 be together in St. Louis in November 2019. The only question is, are you going to be there? That's the only question you need to answer. And follow the link in the comment section, and we'll see you there. Or don't talk to us.
Hey,